They get Lonzo Ball from the Chicago Bulls. You're trading in division, you're trading in conference for Isaac Okoro. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Phelps, my partner Andy Baskin. Meredith's taking your phone calls. 216-474-0092. Dan Minigan is in charge of this fiasco. So Lonzo Ball will be a Cavalier. Lonzo had knee transplant type stuff done. Mm-hmm. He missed 2 full seasons because of his knee situation. He played last year.
Almost like a Tommy John of the knee.
It kind of seems to be, Andy. Yeah, actually, and it kept him out 2 years, and he's back. If Lonzo Ball didn't have crummy knees, you're not able to make this trade. He's probably not with Chicago. He's probably still with the Lakers. He could be, elsewhere, making a lot of money, playing really good basketball. I mean, he's a good player.
I mean, he was a second overall pick.
Yeah, he's a really good player. I don't know that he's as good as his brother LaMelo, but he's a good player. Mm-hmm. And Isaac Okoro showed you what Isaac Okoro is as an NBA player. If you're an NBA player, you really can play basketball. I mean, you're better than guys who aren't playing in the NBA. That doesn't mean you're anything more than just a player on an NBA roster, because there's an upper echelon in the NBA that we're all very well aware of. And I personally think if they didn't already have Isaac's replacement on the team in Jalen Tyson,
right,
a guy similar length who can do a lot more offensively, which is more critical now since you hired Kenny Atkinson, who's an offensive-minded coach. And if you didn't already have him, you have him now because you drafted the kid from Duke. So you've got 2 6'5" guys, Andy, that could 6'5", 6'6", completely be the replacement for Isaac Okoro. Proctor can do that stuff. He can defend on the wing. I love the trade because I don't think you're giving up much.
No, I think if he's healthy, if Ball's healthy, then you've improved. And you've also improved your bottom line by dropping $1 million. It's interesting, though, to go back and read some of the stuff about Okoro when I was playing. It's very difficult to either find J.B. Bickerstaff or Kenny Atkinson say anything bad about Okoro.
Well, there's nothing bad to say except that he's not a great offensive player.
Yeah, they love the way he hustled. They love the way he played, and that they thought he was an important part of the team, but he just didn't jump off the page on it, especially offensively. We knew that, but
extremely athletic.
Yeah,
but not very good offensively. And when you have to not play a guy in the playoffs because of his offensive limitations, it's okay to move on. And they did. There's nothing wrong there. Chicago wants him. He'll go into Chicago. Hopefully he does a nice job for them and continues to make a lot of money and have a really good NBA career.
He did average 14.2 and 19.1 in the regular season, 14.2 minutes in the playoffs, but they're very quiet numbers. His numbers they just weren't impactful during the game, especially during the playoffs, and he was just kind of blended into the woodwork. I can't think of a better way to think of my recollection of him as we move forward and see what his career the lasting impact of his career moving forward. I don't know. Maybe in Chicago they'll find some way to make him better at something that he was here in Cleveland, and maybe have the opportunity to rise and be a better player. But right now it just doesn't feel like he does feel like a very rock solid NBA player that can give you minutes and maybe give you 7 points a game.
And that's okay. You can
plenty of those guys.
You can make a lot of money. In fact, the Cavs gave him I think it's 3-year, $33 million extension.
And they got that off the books too, right?
Well, they did, but you're paying Lonzo Ball about the same amount of money.
A little bit less. But
in the NBA, what's $1 million? As silly as that sounds, what's $1 million?
All right. Well, if you guys feel bad about $1 million, just send it over to me and Jeff, care of Jeff and Andy.
That's not a bad thing.
If it's just $1 million, I mean, it's really no big deal. Okay, why don't you send $1 million?
The only thing about this trade and I would do it every day of the week. I am completely okay with that. The only hiccup here for me, Andy, and this is the only hiccup. Lonzo Ball is not a player you can count on. Just based on his injury history.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, no, I don't know if it's true on the floor, but injury-wise, yeah, I agree with that.
Well, even last year, he played in 35 games. Okay, and that was after missing 2 seasons. So he came back, he played a little bit, perhaps, you want, can I go best case scenario for you?
Yeah, give it to me.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas missed 3 of his first 4 years in the NBA.
Yes.
And then played the rest of his career without much limitation at all and played very well for a very long time and became an iconic player for this franchise. Leave out the iconic player part, and that's the best case scenario for Lonzo Ball. I don't expect Lonzo to become an iconic member of the Cavaliers, but if he can bounce back after sitting out 2 years, and then after sitting out 2 years playing in 35 games, maybe he's ready to go. I mean, he's had plenty of rest. Maybe he's okay. Maybe he's good to go. And if he is, the deal here is he gives the Cavaliers, and this is what I talked about with the kid from Villanova when they were looking to maybe Eric Dixon. I said, why don't you try and draft this guy? Big scorer, big body. You don't have anybody like him. You don't have anybody like Lonzo Ball. You now have a 6'6", 6'7" point guard who can handle the ball really well, can run an offense, can defend a little bit, can score a little bit, can rebound. I mean, his numbers in his career pretty well rounded before the knee injury. And then last year he came back and the numbers were down a little bit. He was just happy to be back playing basketball. If he can play, he's a really nice fit in a backcourt that features 2 ball dominant guards.
I can't argue with anything you just said. I think that they as long as he's healthy, he's an upgrade for this team.
Yes.
I was kind of excited.
Yes.
When they brought him in, I'm like, okay, this is going to be kind of cool. We'll see what happens. Again, it's not that I didn't like Okoro. It's just he just never jumped off the page. And with less playing time this year, it made it even harder for him to jump off the page.
They now have other guys on the roster who you think, yeah, well, okay, this guy can do that. A lot cheaper, and B, probably a lot better offensively anyway. Jay's in Westlake. Jay, what'd you think of the deal?
Hey, Jay.
Hey, guys. Didn't expect to be speaking to you again so soon.
Well, we're happy to have you with us.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks. I got to tell you, I do like this deal. Not that I didn't like Okoro. I was never thrilled with that pick. But, again, I thought he was a good enough guy. But I really feel he became expendable the minute they picked up Hunter. So
agreed.
You've got far less minutes for him. And as you said, we've got plenty of guys that can do what he can do. And by picking up Ball, you can now let go of Ty Jerome, which, again, I like Ty Jerome. But, again, if you've got Ball, you don't need him. And Ty Jerome can be a lot more expensive.
There you go.
And going forwards, again, you guys brought up his knees. Yep, he could be a total bust. But you're only committed for 1 year. And the flip side of the coin is let's say he comes out and he just surprises everybody. You've got a team option for another year. So I really don't see a downside to this one.
Jay, agree with you completely.
Jay, all right. Well, thanks for talking to me, guys.
You got it, Jay.
It is weird. I mean, Jeff, this is a move that I think most Cavalier fans are like, okay, good. I don't think there's much more. Is there much more to it than that? Yes. Good move. Feels like it. As long as he's healthy, could be a good plus move. I don't know if it's going to be a great move, but right now it's a good move.
I would agree with that. I won't depress you.
Uh-oh, here we go.
No, I'm not going to do it. If you'd like to get depressed, just go look at the 2020 draft where the Cavs took Isaac Okoro with the 5th overall pick.
I knew you were going to do that. I don't know why. I had a premonition that you were going to do that.
I'm just saying, just do that. Just go look and see guys taken after Isaac Okoro in that 2020 draft. And you can just depress yourself. I will say this. Of all the guys in that draft, and Isaac was 5th, he has scored the 15th most points out of all of those guys. So obviously guys taken after him have done a really nice job. Now this puts the Cavaliers. Apparently Andy is looking at the 2020 NBA draft.
Why do you do this?
Why did he do this to me?
I didn't say a word. I said if you would like to depress yourself, and Andy's there before I even get the words out of my mouth.
Who wins when we play this game?
I'm not playing the game. I tried to avoid playing the game.
Yeah, but you brought it up. Sam Merrill was the last pick. He was Mr. Irrelevant in the draft. guys remember that.
Who wins when we play this game?
Not me, I can tell you that. Everybody that was in the NBA Finals that's on this list.
Oh, gee, Andy, I haven't given any names.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard not to. One guy who's going to have to sit out the year next year.
Go ahead.
Who was really,
maybe
really
a guy
good.
taken 12th?
Yeah. Tyrese Halliburton. Even Obi Toppin was 8th. I don't know if there's another word for the way I feel after looking at this draft. Thanks.
By the way, today at 6 o'clock.
We did upgrade, though, by bringing... Oh, it's LaMelo Ball. Never mind. Okay, keep going. Yes, it's 6 o'clock.
Today at 6 o'clock, NBA teams can begin negotiating with free agents.
Is this tampering?
It's their version of legal tampering. Yes. 6 o'clock today. But of course, you can't sign anybody until 12:01 p.m., just afternoon on July 6th.
What hat do you have to wear?
You don't wear hats in this.
Oh, well, that takes all the fun out of
And
it.
so
Why can't you put the wrong hat up?
If we
so
recall,
can say,
it's a similar type of deal to the NFL, where immediately guys, it's at 6 o'clock, such and such agreed to a contract with, fill in the blank. The fact that the Cavaliers have brought in Lonzo Ball.
yes,
They're shuffling some.
I gotta give it to you.
They're shuffling some things around. How do you like? And I'm going to use the word again. Fit. How do you like this fit?
I like. I don't. If it works, again, this is all based on his health. If he's healthy, it's a fit.
Okay.
And
All right,
everything I've read said, man, this looks like this could be a really good thing for the Cavaliers. Really good. Oh, they trashed Chicago in this trade. Oh, I can't believe Chicago did this. Wow, Lonzo Ball might be the missing piece.
For a guy who's played 35 games in 3 years.
Again, might be the missing piece.
I know. Again, I would make this trade every day. However, you've got to wonder, okay, let's just go through this right now. This is the way this team looks right now. Let's go with your starting 5. It's the same starting 5 as last year. Let's just assume Max Strus is still starting.
Okay.
If not, it'll be DeAndre Hunter.
And it should be. And
Max Strus is coming off your bench. We're real sure Ty Jerome's not going to be back, are we not?
Yeah, I would say this
seals it.
Yeah.
Ty's not going to be back. That means it's Lonzo Ball and Craig Porter Jr. as your backup points. And the difference there, experience, probably overall ability if you're healthy. Craig Porter Jr. is healthier. He's also 6'1" compared to 6'6". I love the 6'6" guard in the backcourt, along with either Darius or Donovan.
Well, and with Darius hurt, I mean, how long is Darius going to be out to start the season?
Exactly right.
So
that gives them 2 point guards now to start the season while Darius heals up.
Is Ball a compliment? That's how you have to ask it.
A compliment to what? Everything else they have?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this I don't mean this to be mean. You can replace Isaac Okoro tomorrow. Your team was more concerned.
Unless you felt he was this defensive guru that could just, I mean, at one point, J.B. Bickerstaff called him best defender in the league.
Yeah, well, I bet he doesn't call him that now.
I'm just saying, at one point, J.B. called him the best defender in the league.
And I have a hard time arguing with that, but the defense meant so much, they fired the defensive-minded coach and brought in an offensive-minded coach.
True that.
And so if a guy playing shooting guard and or small forward can't score for you, and you're an offensive-minded team and coach, that doesn't do you a whole lot of good. And so that's kind of where I think they were. You have Lonzo now, along with Craig Porter Jr. At the other guard spots, you go and you have Jalen Tyson, and you bring in Tyrese Proctor. I like that mix too. I think that works. It might, those two guys with DeAndre Hunter and Donovan Mitchell and Lonzo Ball might make Max Strus a trade piece. Might. What do you think?
I thought I saw his name as a trade piece already.
He might have been, but I think it's even more viable now, to be honest with you.
It does give them possibilities, and they're able to twist the Rubik's Cube a little bit more than they could before they made this deal. I mean, you did free up. I don't know if that $1 million difference in the contracts gives them a whole lot of flexibility, but at least it feels like they can breathe a little. Hey, they made a move. I didn't know if they were going to be able to do that. And I didn't think anyone was going to take a Coro's contract.
And it was player for player. I mean, there are no draft picks involved.
Yeah, don't you think that
that's the way a trade's supposed to be?
I didn't think they were going to be able to get rid of a Coro's contract. I thought that was going to be a big hang-up.
I thought it was too.
But it didn't. It ended up not being a big
well done. And Andy, if the Lonzo Ball thing doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I think you've given your team a chance for a little better fit. And that's interesting. Now, you look at the core four and all that stuff and blah, 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 blah. There was a piece that was written over the weekend that I found interesting. I'll just leave it at interesting, which is one of my favorite words. But it said something about how do the Celtics fix their guard situation. And it was from a site called Fadeaway World. Boston Celtics find their next point guard in blockbuster trade scenario with
Cavaliers.
Or Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah.
What I just said. If you say it really fast.
How's that go?
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, okay. The little trade they threw out, courtesy of my friend Rick, who pointed this out to me. Rick, you're the best. Rick's former producer that I worked with, who keeps producing despite the fact that he's no longer in our business.
With a W?
Rick's the best. Yes.
Rick with a W.
Yeah.
Yep.
Celtics received flat out Darius Garland, nothing more. Cavaliers received Derek White, Sam Hauser, Jordan Walsh, and a future second-round pick way down the road. I don't know how that would work. You know why? Because eventually it's Darius Garland with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You think Darius is willing to play point guard to those two guys?
Well, you talk about fit issues here.
Yeah,
it's huge fit issue there.
Andy, that's what I was thinking.
In fact, it would give them fits.
No, Dan's busy doing other things. Okay. He's not doing rim shots.
I was calling for the rim shot.
I wonder. See, that's the thing that doesn't work for me. Could you possibly have Darius, Tatum, and Brown together? Are there enough shots to go around there?
No.
No, they got rid of Drew Holiday already. Derek White takes shots, but does he take that many shots? No, not really. And he could play point for the Cavs to some extent.
But you're also
mix him with Lonzo Ball.
Take Tatum out of the mix for next year, right? No one's expecting him to play.
Well, the next year, Darius is your guy along with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
If you're in Boston.
Well, then you know what you have for the next season and then worry about the problems after that.
Which is possible. Yeah.
Although I don't know what they're looking at apron issues either. They were in trouble. I don't know if they are this season or not. But
they've made trades to get under it.
Yeah, but how far under are
they? Traded Porzingis and they traded Drew Holiday.
I just don't know where that puts them on the apron, though. So.
That's just something to throw out there. Something that was of slight interest. So that's not a bad thing, is it?
No.
You okay with Sam Merrill coming back? He gets a contract extension.
Yeah, I think that
seals up Ty Jerome.
I think it was more reasonable deal than they were going to get from Ty Jerome too. Ty Jerome's going to get paid.
Ty's earned money.
He is going to get paid.
Yeah, Ty's earned money, and good for him. And he didn't help you nearly as much in the playoffs. In fact, one game he sat. Remember, which was weird.
And then. Is that the game that you're saying he sat and then came in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Came in, and then he lit everything on fire.
Yeah,
and he played well,
which was interesting and
offensively
another interesting thing. It just the depth of this team, I think, is going to get really tested here, and Lonzo Ball adds to that depth if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, depth takes a hit. Because Ty Jerome was healthy this year, and Ty was the main force of that depth, was he not? Along with George Niang and Karis LeVert, and you traded them, and then DeAndre Hunter. One guy is not as many as two when it adds to depth.
Although when Hunter came in, man, it was just like, wow, okay, you've got the perfect five. When he first came in.
Yep, and then they kept him on the bench for all of it, and then that's why I think Max Strus is a real serious trade candidate.
Yeah, Boston's still all over that second apron.
June 30th, 10:53 a.m. Okay, we're time stamping this so that no one can hold it against us.
Yes.
As of right now, Mr. Baskin, Cavs better, worse, or same?
I think they're slightly better. If Ball's healthy, they're slightly better. If not, no, I'm going to say it. If he's healthy, they're better.
Mr. Phelps, same question.
I'll agree with the way Andy put it. If he's healthy, they're better. We need to see him on the floor, and we need to see him at the start of the season. If he's not able to be healthy at the start of the season, they might have an issue. Then you've got two small guys in the backcourt in Craig Porter and Donovan Mitchell while Darius heals up.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is Darius still has to heal? How long till we get him back?
That's a question. We'll
right
talk
now. I think I would say same.
Would you?
I think they're in the same spot. I think they're because I'm going into the season thinking if you get 45 games out of Lonzo Ball, you're doing well. I mean, that season's a success if you get more than 45 games out of Lonzo.
Yeah.
His history will tell you that. His knee will tell you that.
Especially when you get those games.
Correct.
If you get them in February, March, April, and beyond, then you're in business. I would think, Dan, their hope is, because you can be sure they're going to manage it, that he gets 60 games this year. I'm going to shoot a little higher.